Alina, thank you so much for coming on today. You have built a seven-figure business coming from Siberia. That isn't typical, I would imagine.
For sure.
In
And thank you so much for first for inviting me. I'm gonna tell you the whole story of growing up in a smaller city, moving abroad by myself to study, and then how one skill can scale you to six figures in your early 20s.
which is just incredible. And when I heard your story, I was honestly mind blown. And that's why I'd asked you on the podcast today. And I'm so grateful to have you here. What do we need to know about your earliest context growing up in Siberia and building a seven-figure business to understand how that got you to where you are today?
For sure. So I'm gonna start from like early years.
Do.
So before I was 15, I just kind of lived in a small city in Siberia. Siberia is a region where it's minus 40 in winter and then plus 30 degrees like Celsius in summer. So it's like super warm versus super cold. And honestly, it's amazing. It's like you have all the nature and infrastructure, so great place. But I always knew that I'm meant for more, and I always knew that my parents gonna do everything possible to send me to Europe to study to get a better education. So that's what happened at 15. I was sent to school in UK. It was like Wellington, tiniest village. It was literally one main street with two supermarkets, and that's it, because they were paranoid about my safety. So I studied there for the first year, finished the GCSEs. It's like an international GCSE for kind of students, and then I moved to London to finish high school. So it's A levels, I think that's called. So yeah, kind of finished that, became head of boarding. So I was always super active, tried to do anything possible. It's like, oh, I have an extra hour available, so why don't I try going to like CCF, which is like army, and I've never heard of it. That's it's possible. You can go to army and you can learn to shoot. It's cool.
Hey,
And then I can go to a sports club. I can play netball, which is never I never heard about netball. I've never heard that it's like a sport. Then I can go to run club. I can go to art class and music class, and it's all available. You don't have to, I don't know, be professional. You can just go and try all those classes in school. So this was insane for me because in Siberia you don't really have that. You have to go to all those separate classes. You have to drive to different places. You have to pay for them separately. So it was so cool, and I'm like, well, I might as well try everything that's available for me right now. So that's what I was doing in school. And at the same time, I started learning how to make extra money. So my family fully supported me. That's like they're awesome, but I always wanted to be independent. So I started doing polls, which is like a thing where you answer a few questions and you get paid like 10 cents per poll. So
was this on Instagram?
it was just on Google. It's like
Oh,
different
wow.
websites, like yeah, just
Okay.
random ways to make money. So
Oh,
first is like
wow.
polls, then downloading different apps. So you can also kind of find a description. You need to download the app. You need to leave a comment. You need to play for a bit, and then they pay you again like 20, 50 cents for it. So I was doing that. I was just making cents at 17 when I was in school. Then another smaller step, I learned that I could actually do social media. I could edit videos. I could edit pictures. So I started growing my social media Instagram account. And one day I realized that brands pay you for pictures. So it was super early, like 2017, 18, whatever. And brands were still paying smaller creators. So I had 5K followers and I got my first brand deal for £50. And I was like, wow, mind blown. Like I can post one picture and get £50, which is enough for a meal for like a teenager at school.
Yeah.
So like, and then I'm going to a restaurant with friends. Awesome. So I don't have to do polls. Forgetting about polls, forgetting about
Forget
apps.
about the sense.
Let's go full on with the apps and with the brand deals. So doing brand deals and then also improving my skills. So what is I think crucial for me is always try to learn something that you're interested in. For example, for me it's editing. I love the phone. I love technology. I love how you can, I don't know, you don't have to have a good camera. You can shoot, for example, with iPhone 5, 6, whatever, and you can use all the apps to improve the quality, to improve the sound. And right now you can still post on social media. So always amazed me how you can use anything as a base and with editing, with technology, improve it. So you're not in a disadvantage, even if you don't have a good phone, like the latest phone. So I was using all of that, helping people to edit, helping people to do for like pictures. and started working in my first company where I was kind of managing a group of video editors, and then started my own account. So I was growing followers, attracting all the people who want to learn editing, and I'm like, wow, I can actually maybe launch a course that will help people to learn what I already know and get money for that because I'm getting paid for my skills. Why don't I teach
Wow.
someone? And it wasn't mainstream back then. It wasn't like everyone is
No.
selling courses. I was like, oh, I'm one of the first ones who actually going to teach you about that. So I taught people how to edit, had like first maybe 10, 12 students, and got my first 1,000 from this
At
launch.
19.
Yeah, and I was actually like working so hard, like every single student, like, hey guys, how are you doing? What is not kind of working for you? Let me download 50 different apps so it's suitable for your phone because I realized that some people have Android, some people have iPhones, and I'm like, I have no idea how to work on an Android, so let me download, try it all, and give it to students. So no matter what devices they have, they'll be able to do like all the tasks and all the homework that I prepared.
That
So yeah,
is absolutely incredible. And you obviously made your first 1K from stacking skills. So, what's really interesting to note as well, Alina, is that putting yourself into all those extracurricular activities as well, even just before getting to the editing side of things, that is such a high leverage thing to do. And you mightn't have realized it at the time. You might have just been like, oh, like this is so cool. I didn't have this in Siberia. What do you mean I get to learn how to shoot a gun? What do you mean I get to go to a run club? What do you mean I get to learn how to play netball? You honestly don't realize how much that can actually help you, later in life. But from that 1K, that first time you got that first 1K into your bank account, were you like, what the hell? I can't believe I've done this.
yeah, it was amazing. I was actually I flew back home, had dinner with my parents, and I said, "Hey guys, I actually made my first 1K." And like 1K in Siberia, like people usually make $300 a month, and this is a good-ish salary. Like you can live off $300 a month. And I'm like, "Hey, I just made 1K at whatever, like 19." And they're like, "Wow, that's insane." And they were so like they were always supporting me. They were so proud. But I knew that it was crazy easy. Like it was unbelievable that I just did a few stories, showed the skill that I already have, and told people like, hey, if you want to, and I didn't even sell, like I didn't really know how to sell. I just told people like, hey, if you want to do the same as I do, make some money, then buy a course from me. And they're like, oh my god, I want to save, yeah, let me buy the course.
Wow.
So like imagine how much I could have done if I knew all the sales skills that I know right now.
I know, but that's hindsight. It's like we were posting at like a prime time. So you selling a course then in 2017, 18 was like unheard of, whereas now they're everywhere. And it was the same with when I was posting on social media back in lockdown, like it was like a taboo thing to do. It wasn't like, you know, yeah, the thing to do. I was posting live workouts and people were like, what is this girl doing? But like without realizing I was building a following, I was building a community, but I didn't know. And it's the same for you. Like you were actually doing sales, but just maybe not very well because you didn't know how to do them. And that brings me on to the skill set of sales. So, how important is the skill set of sales and learning sales when it comes to building a business or making money?
I think it's number one. Like you
Mm.
cannot, like you can't even live your life without knowing how to sell because you use sales everywhere. Like even with your friends, if you want to go to a restaurant and the other person wants to go to a different restaurant, you have to sell why your restaurant is better than the other.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, my restaurant actually has this dessert that you love, and actually it's closer, and they give you whatever special bonus when you come in or like a discount. So you use this in everyday life, and obviously, like sales is, I think, number one. And I didn't realize that just a few years ago, but right now I spend all my free time learning, testing, trying to get all the objections possible. So, like, if I have an objection in mind that I don't know how to close, I would ask like my friends or like a coach that I work with, and it's like, hey, how would you close this objection? So I just have a library of different ways to close objections in my head, which helps me even in everyday life.
I love that. So, what if someone said to you, oh, I need to think about it. I don't know if I have the time right now.
Yeah, so it's always like separating the money. So before hearing an objection, you should ask all the questions that you need to kind of know and separate them. So let's say before that, I would ask you how urgent is that, or how long you've spent on trying to fix it, or what have we already tried, and all of that. And then with all the information, if you tell me, well, I actually need to think about it, or I will do it later, you just told me you've been trying to do it for 5 years. So like already, like you just told me all the information that I need before I started selling, so I can use all this information kind of against you. Or same as I need to talk to my partner. I always ask at the beginning of the call, always ask like, is there anyone else that you should invite to the call, or anyone else helping you to make business decisions, or is just yourself? Oh yeah, it's just myself. Cool, then they don't have objection. Like you just told me at the beginning of the call that you make all the decisions in your business, so you don't need actually to talk to
Wow.
anyone. But is it a fear of the investment? Is it maybe too much for you right now? And then we can also move the money aside. Look, money aside, are you 100% in? So you love the program, you would want to start today, is just a money question. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. We're going to separate the money. We're going to figure out payment plan. We're going to figure out deposit. Or no, actually, I also don't really understand this part of the program. Okay, cool. That's the program objection. It's not the money objection. So you can ask a few questions, even if you hear like a generic, like I need to think about it. Okay, cool. You need to think about it. But just to confirm, so money aside, you're 100% in. Cool. Let's figure out with the program. Or no, actually, that's a problem with the program. We're gonna go dive deeper. I'm gonna show you the platform. I'm gonna show you cases, all of that. So
I
just yeah,
love that, like,
navigating.
because usually our brains are primed for, survival, not success. And so it's just removing that fear and giving them that safety around clarity, that it's okay, like we're gonna get you to where you need to be. That's amazing. But your first 40 sales calls, tell us how they went.
They were a disaster. 40 hours of my time, I think even more, and zero coins, zero money in my pocket.
What happened?
So I just bought a coaching program, and they explained to me how to get leads, like how to get people on a call, but I didn't really cover the part of how to sell on those calls. So I came up with the kind of better offer. So I always go with the free value, like same as you
Yeah.
with the free workouts. I'm like, okay, cool. So I know how Instagram works. I already worked on Instagram like prior to that. Why don't I offer a consultation where we'll analyze their accounts, highlight what they need to improve and how they can make money, and then obviously because I'm so good, they want to work with me. But I did all of that, and I turned the call into a free consultation, and I gave them so much value that people had to actually digest it. So they were like, oh my God, that's amazing. I would leave a great review, like the best call ever. It's so clear for me right now, but there's no need for them to pay because I just gave them all the steps. So
You
that
gave them
yeah,
too much in
the
the free
mistake I did,
consult
yeah,
call. Yeah. Okay.
was a free consultation.
So when you were learning how to sell, so a lot of people would have given up if they did 40 calls and didn't close. But that was actually only the start of your journey, right? So what would you say to the person who maybe is showing up on social media for the last year and who is putting in all the inputs, and they're getting maybe some leads, maybe not some traction, and they're not closing deals, they're not closing sales calls, that they're struggling, but they are showing up consistently and every day? What advice would you give to that person?
Obviously, there's just one thing that's like, hey, keep going, it will work out. But honestly, it's different for every person. Like, why exactly it's not working? Because you're not doing the right thing, you're just doing something. Like, you're just posting to post, and it's a random idea that's not in, like, they didn't get traction in the first place, and you're trying to recreate something that didn't work for anyone else. Or are you overcomplicating? Are you scared and you're just putting all the different links and like building a huge funnel where you just need to message a person and book a call? So it's like so different. But I guess for someone who is trying for a year, that's definitely great. Like staying consistent is a key. Then what I would do is I would break down the whole process. Like, what do I do? What do I want? Kind of how my funnel works to get a client. So if it's number one, I analyze 100 different videos. I script them with ChatGPT. I create all those huge storytellings. I hire a professional videographer. I pay an editor. I have a whole sales team and a seller team. Like it's so big. Like you don't need that to make your first money. You just need one cool video. So let's say you're a fitness coach. Then you would go to TikTok. You would type weight loss or one of the dream results or pain points of your audience. So it's if in the fitness, it's weight loss, how to get muscles, how to eat and lose weight, how to eat what you like and lose weight, how to eat everything at Christmas and lose weight. Obviously, that's trending right now. So you just find one topic, you find a video that has 100K likes. So it's not 100K views, it's 100K likes, so millions of views. It's so trending, it's like so proven in the niche that there's no way if you consistently do a few videos like that, if you like choose 10 videos that had 100K likes, there's no way one of those videos wouldn't get to a little bit more than usual. So maybe you usually get 1,000, then this video should be at 2,000 views. So at least you'll see a tiniest change, a tiniest result. So you get this video of 100K likes, you recreate it to the best of your ability as close as possible. If the video is 30 seconds, you don't do 60-second version, you do 30-second version. If it has 5 steps, then you do 5 steps. If they start as a talking head video, you don't do like a different type of video, you don't do B-roll. You just copy as closely as possible to the original idea. You post, and then honestly, even if it's smaller account, you don't have to have a funnel. You can just message all those people who like your content. So let's say a step-by-step plan for someone who wants to make their first K. I post a video that got 100K likes, I recreate it to the best of my ability, and I post, let's say, 10 of them back to back. Then all those people who like my content, I can message them and say, hey, thank you so much for supporting my content. By the way, I'm creating free materials for my followers right now. What's your biggest struggle? So we just want to start a conversation. We don't want to kind of spook the person. So that's why we start with like, hey, I'm just creating a few free materials. We're not directly asking like, what's your biggest struggle? Because if you go with like, hey, what's your biggest struggle? They will think, oh, you're selling to me straight away. So it's like, hey, I'm just trying to do a little research of my audience, of my active followers. What's your main struggle? They will share the struggle. Let's say I want to lose weight. Okay, awesome. And what have you tried? So we have 3 key questions. What's your struggle? What have you tried? And what's your main goal? Oh, like in a different order. What's your struggle? What's your main goal? What's you've tried? Doesn't matter. We ask those 3 questions, and then you get full kind of history of that person. So you already know that they want to lose weight. They want to lose, let's say, 5 kilograms or whatever it's in pounds. I don't know. And then they already tried different diets. So they tried keto diet, or I don't know, they tried going for a run every morning. And then you use all this information and you just invite them to a free call. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. By the way, I'm doing a free call for all my active followers. Or thank you so much. Let's schedule a free call where I'll create a step-by-step plan for you on how you can, and then struggle and goal, on how you can lose 5 kilograms of weight without running every day because you don't have much time.
Wow.
Or without doing any diets because, well, like you're a busy mom and you don't have time. So you ask a few questions, super simple. Goal, struggle, what you've tried, and then you just combine them in a message like, cool, awesome, let's jump on a free call where I'll create a personal step-by-step strategy for you on how you can achieve, and then you just insert the goal they told you, how you can achieve like your weight loss or how you can lose 5 kilograms.
Wow.
What time zone are you in? I have 2 slots this week, Friday and Saturday, what's best for you? So you don't offer them, even like this is a sales technique, you don't offer them yes or no, like, do you want to jump on a call? No, like
You invite them.
they have to jump on a call. Like there's
Yeah,
no
okay.
option. You just offer them it's Friday or Saturday, or what time zone are you in? So there's no way to say no. It's like they just continue the
You
conversation.
don't give that as an option
Yeah.
to say no. And what is the most amount of people that you reached out to, would you say, in maybe,
First.
like, let's say you're making your first 10K month. How many people per day were you reaching out to doing this method?
For the 10K, it will be a little different. So I have like 2 different approaches, I would
Okay,
say. So
maybe at the start, sorry,
Yeah.
we'll get to that, but maybe at the start, like at the very start when you were doing this, you had that strategy of finding a reel with 100 like or 100,000 likes, you know, reposting that to the best of your ability and replicating that because it already worked, so it's going to work again, and you're just going to post until it does, right? And when you were messaging those people who were liking it, how many hours were you spending, would you say, on average per week reaching out to those people, or how many people per day were you reaching out to?
If you have the ability, maybe we can even insert like a doc. I can share you a link with you or calculate it.
Wow.
Yeah, so we can put it on the screen. But basically, the two strategies I talked about is inbound and outbound. So inbound means that people message you first, so you didn't talk to them at first. They messaged you. And outbound means that you start the conversation, you send the first message. So if you're a smaller account, you don't have that many people reaching out all the time. So when you're smaller, you reach out, say, thank you for following, thank you for liking my reel, thank you for commenting, I really appreciate. What's your struggle? That's how you start the conversation. And then you go struggle, goal, what have you tried, jump on a free call. When you're a bigger account, the strategy is the same, it's just the first message is a little different. So that's where you start with a free guide, for example. When you have the volume, usually it's 2,000 views on average per reel. So if you're already at the stage, you can start creating free guides. So for example, if it's weight loss coach, how to lose 5 kilograms in whatever, like 6 weeks, whatever is a normal amount of time. Or a meal plan for Christmas to keep the weight or like to even lose weight during Christmas. So you create this tiny file, or it could be a video, like a Loom video, could be a video from your phone. Like don't even think about any platforms, just record a video on your phone, talking to the person. It's like, hey, here's my plan, and actually give them value. Like it's not that it's going to be a 1 minute video of you saying, hey, if you want to actually get the value, work with me. No, we want to give them value. It's going to be a 10-minute video or a pretty detailed document where people can use it and actually get a result. So you create this free file and promote it on your reel. So you still get this popular reel with 10K likes, but instead of saying, like at the end, instead of saying follow me, as people usually do, you can say comment weight and get my free guide on how to lose 5 kilograms during Christmas, whatever. So the step-by-step is you have the video that you recreate from 100K likes. Then you can change the call to action at the end, where you will say comment run, comment weight, comment fitness, whatever the keyword is, to get my free guide on, and then the name on how to result, like how to lose weight, how to get your first 10K, how to I don't know, borrow 100K from a bank for your business, because I have finance clients as well. So you give them this free value in the video. People start commenting. So those are your free inbound leads, like people who need the value, who have the problem. And then you can contact them. So that's the different part where you contact them. Either no one commented, that's okay. You can just message people yourself. Or some people commented, awesome, you have the first inbound leads, people who are interested. And then you start the conversations in similar way. Here's your free guide. What's your struggle? And then everything else is the same. So what's your struggle? What's your goal? What have you tried? Free call. So you have those conversations, and then you schedule calls. So the conversion, why I'm talking about those two different ways, is a little bit different. So obviously when people aren't interested, when we just message them ourselves, it's a little bit lower because they didn't expect it. And when we have inbound leads, it's a little bit higher. So if we are talking about outreach, means that we are the first ones to message. That's where we get one call out of 100 messages if we message people who like the call, like the post, commented. So it's kind of recent interaction, they're active, they just been on our account. Or if it's just a follower, so we have no idea when they followed us, maybe it was 5 years ago, maybe it was just yesterday. If it just go through follower list, it's usually 1 out of 200 messages.
So like, you mean one call gets booked, but that's not guaranteed as a sale?
No, it's not even guaranteed as a show up.
Wow.
So yeah, like for example, if you have 1,000 followers and you message all 1,000 people, you can book, well, in kind of basic or general average conversion is 5 calls. So 1,000 followers, 5 calls booked, and then 70 to 90% show up. So let's say 4 to 5 people will actually show up on a call. And then if you're good at sales, 1 to 30% buy. So maybe you're going to get your first sale, maybe it's going to be 2 sales, maybe it's going to be 0, which is totally normal as well. So 1,000 followers, if it's outbound, we didn't get any inbound messages, no one is interested, we're doing all the outreach, we're reaching all the people. So 1,000 people, 1,000 followers, 5 booked calls on average. Maybe it's going to be more for you, maybe you have a better, like more engaged community, that's awesome. So 5 booked calls, 4 to 5 show up, And then if you're lucky, 1 to 2 sales, maybe even 0. That's totally normal.
You would have done that yourself,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
How do you keep going when you're doing, I don't know how much outreach you're doing a day, and you're not booking any calls? What made you be like, logically, this has to work, so I'm just going to keep doing the reps? So how important are reps? And for some people, they need to actually they need a reality check. They need to understand what it actually takes, because right now before me, I'm seeing a 25-year-old 7-figure entrepreneur from Siberia. What did people not see for you to get here? That's what I'm trying to get across, because I know you, and what you did and how hard you worked to get to where you are is abnormal. But for you, you're like, oh, okay, obviously I was just going to do that because that's what I had to do to get. What do you mean? Like, you were just thinking, you think quite logically. So what did people not see you doing when you were in like the start and in the thick of doing outreach? What do people need to know about what it actually takes?
Um, Adding to my previous point as well, it's not that bad. It's not that you're gonna have to do outreach all the time. It's just for smaller accounts when you're just starting out and you want your first money. Because in a company that I work with as well, we had a client who had 800 followers and he made his first, I think, 5 sales for 5K. So it doesn't mean
Wow.
that, and then he's a fitness coach, so it's just $1,000 for 3 months coaching. So it's not that you're bound to only have one sale from 1,000 followers, or that it's always going to be a path. And even if you have 10,000 followers right now, you're going to be messaging 10,000 people. That's not the
Okay.
strategy. So it's just if you're starting, like you literally have 300 people, 500 people, you want to at least talk to your audience. Even if you book a sales call and you don't sell, you just gain valuable insights into their problems, into their goals, and you want to use it in your content to attract the same type of audience. So it's not that bad. Like 1,000 people, it's easy. 1,000 people is 50 messages a day, which is like 20 days, or 100 messages a day is like 10 days. You can message 1,000 people in 10 days.
And what's the average conversion then off the back of that, usually? So
So it's
let's
like,
say you reach out to, what did you say, 100 people, and that's 100 people in 10 days. You can condense that down. What would the average sale off the back of that?
yeah, so we're literally going to just write it on the screen so
Okay,
people can,
can see it.
yeah, can see it. But just 2 funnels. Starting out, doing outreach, getting your first reps, talking to the first people, even not expecting a sale, is 1,000 followers. I message 1,000 followers. I get 5 calls, 4 to 5 show up, and maybe make 1 sale. But if I'm getting inbound people, they want my guide, they want my free value that they created, where I have a bigger account, where I already have some traction. Maybe I have like 5,000 followers. I create my free guide and I may get, let's say again, 1,000 comments. So 1,000 comments is people commenting and asking for my value. So it's already inbound, it's already warmer, it's already people who need this, who have this desire to kind of fix the problem. So 1,000 comments, then depending on the price, let's say 30% qualify. So 300 people, by qualifying, I mean have the money to pay.
Okay.
So usually for high ticket, it's 20 to 30%. So from 1,000 people, actually 200 to 300 will have the money to pay. Maybe in parts, maybe with deposit, maybe the full amount, like doesn't matter, but usually it's that. So 1,000 people, 2 to 300 will have the money to pay. Then 10 to 15 usually book a call. So when message them, so it's better conversion than when you're outreaching, because people don't know you. Here they actually asked for the value.
Yeah.
So it's much better. That's obviously better for you, more engaging, because you don't have to message that many
Yeah.
people. So 1,000 comments, 200, 300 have the money. Then 10 to 15 book a call. So it's going to be 20 to 45 people book a call.
Okay.
So possible. Obviously, like it's fully booked for the month.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for 1,000 comments. Maybe you're just going to book first few calls.
Okay.
So 20 to 45 book a call. 70 to 90% show up. So it's going to be whatever, to like 14 to maybe like 39, 37 show up. So like you have a few dozens of people who show up. And then it depends on you, your conversion. So maybe your conversion at the beginning is 10%. So like 1 out of 10 buy from you, or you're a little bit better and 3 out of 10 buy from you. So out of 1,000 comments, you may end up with, let's say, 5 sales, 5, 10, even more sales if you're good at them.
Yeah. No,
So
that's brilliant because I think a lot of people play victim to not making sales from their accounts without ever trying any of this. You know, Cody Sanchez has a saying that you should never have any shame or guilt for getting to your first million. You just do what you've got to do. And is that kind of the attitude that you had? You're like, okay, I just have to do what I have to do in order to make what I want to make.
yeah, I just heard a quote from one of the entrepreneurs that I was listening to as well on the podcast, and he said, "Well, you just need to find out your conversion. If I go and knock on 100 doors and no one opens, then cool, I'm gonna go and knock on 100 more, and then maybe 199 opens and buys. So then my conversion is one sale out of 200 doors. Awesome! I just found out my conversion. So I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing until I get the yes, until I find out my
So you're going to
conversion.
continue knocking on 100 doors because you know there's a yes on the 101.
Yeah, it's like if I'm confident in my product, if I'm not selling like a cardboard for $100, obviously like people are not going to buy it because you need to a little bit know the market.
Yeah.
But if you have a good service and you know that you can help people, you help yourself, or I don't know, you help a friend, then it's just a matter of conversions. Like it's just a matter of how many calls you have, how many people you message. And it's not, again, it's not that, oh, well, okay, Alina told me I need to message 1,000 people. I'm just going to message 1,000 people, and then people reply to you and they never reply back. Like it's not like it's not just half job done. You have to be on, you have to be consistent. Like you started messaging people, then you reply to them, then you personalize your message. You don't use generic messages. You try to listen to the person, you try to understand their problem, and then invite to the call to help. And then if you could help them, if you can understand them, then they will actually ask you like, hey, how can I work with you? How can I maybe start like a coaching, or do you have a consultation? So it's a matter of knowing base conversion, and you could be a little bit off. So obviously if you're just starting, I can tell you that for me, for my like current clients that I work with, 70% upgrade. So meaning that I have 10 clients, 7 of them will upgrade for a package that was like 18K
Wow.
for a year. So that's my conversion. Like that's what I'm used to. So if I get a beginner who, like, let's say a beginner coach in a team who wants to replicate my conversion and they get 10%, that's cool. That's normal. That's what I started with. I don't expect them to get 70 straight away.
Yeah.
So you can know your base, like the base for cold kind of first time calls is 30%. So if you do 10 calls, you should sell at least to 3. If you have experience, if the person on the other end has the money, has the interest, it's not just a random person who was dragged to the call without knowing what's going to happen. So like it's interested person, they have the money, usually 3 out of 10 buy. If you get only 1 out of 10, that's totally normal. You're just starting. But make sure that you learn all the time. So you will have your conversion. It may be a little lower at the beginning if you're just starting out, but it won't be 1 out of 1,000. You will get a sale if you do 1,000 calls. And that's your baseline. Okay, cool. I only did 1 sale out of 1,000 calls. Awesome. You improved your speech, you improved your pitch, you improved your confidence on a call.
Where did you get that tenacity and that persistence? Because you're saying so casually, it's like, oh yeah, well, obviously, Kate, you just reach out to like, in 10 days, you reach out to 100 people. The 101st, you're making a sale. Simple. Where did you get that persistence and tenacity for always just being, because to you, that's just like easy, right? That's logical the way you're saying, explaining it here to us and our audience. But for a lot of people, they would think like that's hard. Do you think it's hard to do that?
Obviously, it's hard to put in the time and the work and not get a reward because we're so used to like instant dopamine with Instagram and like social media and everything that it's hard. And sorry.
It's okay.
That's actually what you said on your talk, that it's so easy to beat people because they don't even stick to their goal for a week. So if you do anything for a week, if you do anything for a month, you're going to beat 90% of people. Easy. But maybe one of the tricks that will help people is setting smaller goals. So I don't expect a sale. I'm just starting. I've never sold online. Like why would I expect a sale? Well, let me just schedule 10 calls and let me just do 10 sales calls. That's my goal. I'm going to do 10 sales calls. I don't like my goal is completed when I finish the 10th call. it doesn't matter if I sold or not. My goal was to do the 10 calls.
Get the reps.
And maybe my goal for the next 10 calls would be to be as close to the sales script, you can literally get it on ChatGPT, whatever, as possible. So my next goal is to learn script and to be confident. So to improve my confidence, maybe rate myself 1 out of 10, like how confident I was, how flowy the conversation was, how I was able to close maybe some objections. Did I remember the script even? So it's never about the end goal. Like I won't be able to achieve anything if I told myself, well, I'm going to practice 5 times and then I'm going to become an Olympic champion on the 6th time. Or
That's what people expect though, right?
yeah, or I'm going to schedule 10 calls and I'm going to make 10 sales out of 10 calls. Or I'm going to make 15 sales out of 10 calls because they're so great that they're going to suggest all their friends to come as well. Like, no, that's not how it works.
How life works. Yeah, no, that is such incredible advice. You know, that's not how it works. And I think a lot of people look from the outside in saying, oh, she got lucky. Or, you know, that's great that Alina can do this, that she's built a 7-figure business and that she can get her client 300K off a story launch. But that's just luck. That's how a lot of people maybe listening might think that it's like for you because you're really special. I think you're really special.
I'm not special at this.
Yeah. But do you think it's luck?
Obviously not. Like, again, like people give up after a week. So one advice is if you want to achieve something, you obviously need to be smart. Like you don't want to overcomplicate. You want to research. You want to maybe ask some coaches on Instagram, some people on you, like watch some interviews on YouTube of people who have done it. Maybe ask ChatGPT. Like you literally have ChatGPT that can be coach. So like for example, hey, imagine you are this person. Like imagine you're Elon Musk, and then create a plan from his perspective. So you can ask ChatGPT for different conversions, for average conversions, what you need to expect, and then that's your base. Like for example, ChatGPT tells you, and then give the context. So if you have 1,000 people who commented on your account, or if you have 1,000 followers who never interacted, who don't like your post, never watch your stories, like they just hate you, they just follow you to write hate comments. Hey, dear ChatGPT, what can I expect out of this audience? Like, can I make any sales? What's the base? How many messages should I send? How many calls can I book? And you can always challenge that. Like maybe ChatGPT is going to tell you, oh yeah, you're going to make 50 grand from that. Or a coach from IG will tell you, like, yeah, barely, maybe 1,000. So you need to find an average. You need to try, but there's always a conversion. There's always a yes somewhere.
With the yes, what is maybe like, I think a lot of people need to understand that there's just a problem that needs to be solved, you know? So people listening who think that it's for other people, that doing something like this is for others. If you learn a high leverage skill and you solve a problem with that high leverage skill, you can have a business. And that's what you did. You learned editing. Arguably, when no one else was really doing it, it wasn't a thing. Same with doing courses. And that made you your first £50, which turned into 1K, which turned into 20K, which turned into 50K, you know? And I think, what skills do you think nowadays are the best skills to learn to make maybe your first 1K or 10K month?
I don't think I'm a person who is an expert, because I literally just listened to an interview where a guy was talking about, like, if you have $100, you can start this side hustle. If you have $500, you can start this. I think it was on Stephen Bartlett.
Yes,
actually.
I saw that guy, yeah.
I actually listened to him.
Yeah.
So there are so many experts in a niche who will tell you what skills to learn, but I'm a fan of AI, obviously. So if you know how to optimize, so like how to help the business with reducing costs, saving the time, or making more money with certain tools. So maybe it's AI analyzing tables, maybe it's AI marketing, maybe it's AI even editing. If you have a person and you know they are doing a podcast but they're not using this footage on any other platform, cool, you can reach out and say, hey, dear person, I love your podcast, I can actually cut it into tiniest videos and post them for you on IG, Facebook, YouTube, and whatever, LinkedIn.
I pay a guy to do that.
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. So I don't know. For me, it's just I loved editing. I loved creating something new, and I don't know. I can show you my older edits. It's like adding rockets, adding flowers on my face, adding an effect as if I'm getting out of a kind of cardboard paper. So it's like,
Really
yeah,
creative.
just like creative, crazy stuff. And um, I was willingly spending my free time on editing. So
Because you
if
loved
there's,
it.
yeah, if there's a skill that you love and it's something that you do in your free time, that maybe someone needs it, or maybe not. Like that's totally fine. You can just learn. For example, right now I'm learning YouTube and how to get money from faceless accounts. Like I'm not, like, I don't watch any faceless channels. I don't know how to write the script. I just found a company that does it for me. I pay the money, and then I need to do the research. And then I already made, I think, $500 in my first few months from this kind of new coaching that I just bought. I don't like this. I'm not a fan of faceless YouTube, but I know it's a great strategy. I know that YouTube pays you money, so I might as well learn it and even implement it into my face kind of personal account. So choose different skills, try different skills. It's so easy right now. You can, I don't know, you can do almost everything for free. You can try editing for free, spend one day, 1 week editing a few videos. If you hate it, if you don't know where the buttons are, if you spend hours and hours on a simple video, maybe it's not for you. Then you go into AI and analyzing big kind of blocks of data. If you're super great with tables and you love it, and it's amazing how everything works so perfectly, and you can organize a huge database in a few minutes, then that's where you can find your kind of genius, and that's where you can offer to companies, because a lot of companies have huge data that they can't organize. And sometimes, like for example, for my clients, I ask them to put everything in a table and I just glance at it for like a few minutes, and I give them step-by-step plan because they didn't notice the tiniest change in, I don't know, sales conversions. Like, hey guys, you're actually losing customers because you didn't fix this tiny detail that is clearly shown in your numbers. So analyzing numbers, working with tables, that's a great skill. Um, even, I don't know, creative ideas for coaches right now on social media. So I'm all about social media, and it's great to stand out. So if you see that, for example, like in Kate's case, it's oranges. So it's a
Yeah.
cool, creative idea. Maybe you can find a coach and come up with at least like 100 ideas how they can stand out, how it's connected to their brand, how they can promote their clothing brands in their social media creatively to boost the sales. Then you can pitch that, you can test it, you can say, hey, I'm gonna work for free, but if you see that sales gonna grow over the next 30 days, then I'm gonna get whatever 1%
X
from
amount.
sales.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's another. Everything you've said there is just so incredible. But that last bit of being like, I will do this for free. You can literally go to anyone and say, I've came up with this offer, an irresistible offer where you're solving a big problem for a company, for a person, whatever it is, you're the solution, and you go to them for free. Say, I will literally do this for free. And then that, if they make X amount of sales, that you get 1% off the back, then you've a testimonial, then you've proof, and you've evidence, and then boom, you've a business. But people just won't do it. Like, that's the thing. People, even it's so interesting to hear you creating this faceless account because you're like, oh, cool, I can monetize YouTube. You don't need to do this. You're just doing it for fun because you're like, oh, this is really cool. Like, what do you mean I can have faceless videos playing that I don't need to be a part of, that I don't even need to make because I'm paying this person to do
I don't
it?
even watch them.
You don't even watch them. And it's like, guys, I just got $500 from a video that I didn't even make, that I just got to post. And it's that idea of it being fun, like making money. Do you see making money as a game?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you could, yeah, I don't think you can scale if it's not fun. If it's like mandatory, if you're like, hey, I have to wait. Obviously, you need to feed yourself and maybe like family and relatives. But if you got to a level where you just make enough, you won't ever scale if it's not fun. Like you're just gonna stay in the same level. Because like, why would I want to do more if I
When you
have
don't need
enough?
to. Yeah.
And it's hard and I hate it. Like obviously, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do more than I need to.
Yeah. So
But then,
lean into what it is that you love. Guys, there's people literally making money from sitting and watching trains go by. There's that guy on TikTok and he sits and watches trains and he
yeah,
gets paid for doing it. So you just really need to think outside the box and understand that actually any skill that you can learn, you can use as leverage nowadays to make money online. Like, absolutely. Your niche or a particular skill that blew my mind was you made a client 300K from a story launch. So, like, not even any grid posts as such, but launching maybe a product or a masterclass or an offer through stories in order to bring in 300K. Can you please reverse engineer how to do a launch on stories for us?
For sure. 300K is like a little bit like a huge launch for a big creator. So obviously she had a system, she had a team to be able to deliver them to all those clients. So we're not talking that any random person right now is gonna replicate the system for stories and gonna
But
get
it could be
300.
maybe €300,
Yeah,
like
like obviously
£300.
$300, like
Yeah.
$1,000, yeah. So just differentiating that
It's
any
important.
important information that you hear and other people making millions or thousands of dollars doesn't mean that if you apply the same to your scale of business will give you the same results. So to kind
Very
of differentiate
important.
yourself
Yeah.
from people who already built the system. So like she already had the system, kind of coaches inside the company to deliver this product. The sales team that had kind of processed all the leads that we generated. The team who was editing the content. So I was creating kind of the actual messages and ideas for stories, but there was a team who put it together, who put the text on the picture, who shoot the video of her, I don't know, driving. So we have different footage, we have different angles, so it's all entertaining. So there is obviously the message that I'm going to tell you what we did on stories, but don't forget about the scale and teams.
That's important.
So
Yeah.
don't
That
compare
she'd a
yourself
huge
to
team. Yeah.
$1 million
Yeah.
teams. So yeah, for stories, honestly, same as Reels or any other channel right now. There could be even, I think, Threads or like Twitter. If you know the pain point of your audience, so in her case, it's like numerologists, kind of astrologists, all of that. So she uses numbers to help people determine their kind of work or if it's a good day for a wedding, if it's I don't know if 2026 is going to be your year or what you need to pay attention to. So she's using basically she's that person who uses like numbers, your date of birth, your kind of significant dates in your life to calculate how you should plan the next year or whatever, like the month. So we had different products. So the first product was she actually built an amazing system. So the first one was like a marathon, like a week-long training, where any person, doesn't matter like if you're a professional or you just heard about a skill, can go in, use their date of birth, and calculate a few important bits. Like, oh, cool, I used my date of birth and learned all the kind of tables and systems that she gives me to calculate when I should fly abroad this year. When is like a perfect day for me to fly? What's a safe day for me to fly? So like basically a short week where everyone can learn a skill. Then from that week, she presents a next offer. If you're actually interested in the skill, if you want to help other people, and if you want to work as like a numerologist or astrologist, then here's my course where I'm going to teach you for 6 weeks the skills, like all my systems, all my skills, all the data that you need to ask from a client, how you can actually attract clients if you start this. So the first one is for everyone. Second kind of block, second course is for those who want to become specialists. And then the third one is just one-on-one coaching, which is super high ticket, but it's for those who already have revenue, like income and revenue, maybe making like 10K, and they want to scale. So they want to grow specifically on social media. They want to become more recognizable, grow a brand, and so on, all of that. So it's actually a product that's connected. So it goes from something tiny that everyone can access to going to a group of people that are interested in a skill, and then going to like one-on-one high ticket where you want to scale. So like you're certain, you already got clients, you already know the skill, and you just want to scale. You want to be number one in this niche. So we knew all of that. So my goal was to get as many people to the first step, because I know that basically her upsells.
That's her upsell then, yeah.
Gonna like they work awesome. Like obviously we can tweak it a little bit. We can measure conversion. We introduced a few tables that measured it better. But the main goal was to get as many people as possible to the first step. So I would write down all the goals and fears of those people. So, for example, a specialist who wants to learn how to use those numbers. Then, if you want to make money, if you want to work better with clients, if you want to get better reviews, that's going to be the dream results for the specialists. If it's like average person who's getting the first product, then I'm going to write if you are scared for your family and you want to calculate their next year, what's the best dates for flights or weddings or important events. Then if you want to calculate or like learn how to help your family on a everyday life. So what's the day like today? Is it a good day for opening company? Is it a good day for starting something new? Or should you rest today? So like basically if you want to learn how to use numbers to help yourself and your family, here's the product for you.
It's a really good product because a lot of people like it plays on, like I want to buy that now because I'm intrigued, you know, I'm like, oh,
just like predicting your future, like, oh my God, yeah. So like I'm going to calculate it and I'm going to be 100% sure that this is a good day for me to
do this. Did you use it?
Yeah, I don't believe that. I can sell anything,
I love it.
I personally believe that anything I do is good for me. Like I cannot do anything that's going to be bad for me because
Is that your mindset?
Yeah. Because like even if like for example, I flew so many times I can't remember. Like I've been to 43 countries and obviously I missed some of the flights and obviously I had some flights delayed or cancelled. But I look at it as, oh, it was for me. The flight was cancelled so I could stay here and relax a little bit more. So I won't get on this bad plane that, I don't know, maybe will scare me or like there's going to be a huge turbulence. So everything that happens is for me. I don't need to plan.
Have you always had this mindset of like everything is working out for me?
Yeah, because otherwise I'm going to be scared. Like there's no other way. I have to think everything is for me because otherwise I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be double checking everything. I'm going to be spending so much time. But no, like I'm just trying to find all the positive kind of moments in my life to confirm that yes, even this cancelled flight didn't affect my life. Doesn't matter that I lost like a little bit of money. I landed safe. I spent more time relaxing in the airport. I had this delicious cake. So I'm just highlighting, like I'm making myself highlight all the positive stuff to reinforce that everything that happens is for me, even if it's like in the moment is bad.
When you faced an initial point of a lot of adversity, so like let's say the first time something really maybe negative happened or bad happened, right? And then you overcame that. That obviously gave you the evidence to be like, oh, that needed to happen so that it could get me to here, which is better. So was there a certain moment that made you trust in this completely? You know, that you know everything's working out for you. So when stuff doesn't go your way, you're like, oh, this is redirecting me, or this is teaching me a lesson, or this will be a cool story to tell one day.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's my mindset all the time because there were random reels or random books or random interviews that told stories, and I don't even know if they're true. I just want to believe they're true. That there are so many people who, with their mind, changed their health or actually affected their health, so in a worse, like better way. And I'm like, wow, even if it's false, like if it's complete untrue story, what if it's true? What if I think positively and I'm gonna attract more? Because like same with religion, if I believe there is something, then it's just going to help me. And if I don't believe there's something, but there is something, then I'm not in the best position.
You're missing out.
Yeah, so I'm just going to believe that my mind is awesome, that I need to think positively, that I'm going to do everything possible to think positively. For now, it's working. For now, I feel safe. Yeah. I feel that everything I do is kind of backed up by a higher power. I always make the right decision, even if it's kind of making me sad or I'm in crisis or I'm crying currently. That's actually for me. That's removing someone from my life. So yeah, just try to find all the positive confirmations from, like, remember your worst event. Let's say, well, the easy one would be a canceled flight. Okay, cool. I was flying from my home to Mexico for a conference. And then to fly from Siberia to Mexico, you have to have 4 flights. So it's not a short journey. So I first had to fly to a different city. So from Siberia, like there's a next city. that's bigger than a flight to China, than a flight to, I think it was Mexico, but a different city, and then my final city in Mexico. So it was like a few flights. And then my flight was delayed in the first city. So I didn't even get to China. I didn't even get to like any other, like I literally lost all the tickets. I spent like $1,000. But then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm sitting here in my first city from my whole journey. What can I do? Well, first I'm going to buy a new ticket. Well, this situation taught me how to transition from airport, like from one airport in China to another, because I bought a new ticket that didn't have connecting flight in the same airport. So I knew, I learned,
Stacking skills.
yeah, I learned that apparently if you have a connecting flight in China, you can leave the airport, get like one like 24-hour visa, get to another airport without obviously getting the big visa or applying for it, and then just
Oh,
flying away.
I
So
didn't know
cool.
that.
Yeah, so like that's a skill, because if I'm gonna be in a hurry next time and it's like an insanely important event, and then the only connecting flight will be in China, then I know, cool. I know there's a trick that if you have a flight booked like in the same day or within 24 hours, they're gonna give you a visa in the airport just to leave the airport and get to a new one. Cool, awesome. I'm gonna use the trick. Or the next one is I learned that apparently if my flight is delayed, I get like special bonuses from my bank, that I get like a free meal, a hotel, and all of that. It's just from my bank. Like I don't have to stay in an airport with a few benefits from airline company, but I can actually use my bank's benefits. So awesome. I learned a little bit more about that, and I'm going to be using them on like every time I fly.
Yeah. That's
So
incredible. And just with your mindset, Alina, do you think traveling, you said you flew to 40, you've been in 43 different countries, you're only 25. How important is traveling in regards to your mindset and building a business?
I think everything I do is crucial. Like any question, like how important
Wow.
is, I don't know, eating salad in your life? Like it's insanely important. How important is, I don't know, smiling daily? It's so insanely important. Like everything I do is super important. I think it, and that's my mindset. Like I travel, so it's beneficial for me. So I'm learning so much from it. So I'm meeting all those people. Like obviously I can tell you like, oh, that's awful. It's so uncomfortable. People don't speak my language. I have to spend all this money, and sometimes I have lizards in my apartments. Like especially in Asia. Like obviously I can be negative, and I can look at all the negative things that I'm not as comfortable as I would be at my home with my mom making, I don't know, pies for every
Mm,
meal. But positives outweighed it so much. So traveling shows you all the different kind of people and mindsets, and I get to meet people that are also business owners. So, for example, I met you,
mm,
and I got a new knowledge that I can optimize my taxes, for example.
mm.
And I just calculated that if I've met you 3 years ago, I would have saved $70,000 on
Wow.
taxes that I paid in the past few years. Then I would try different foods. So I never, like, I'm from Siberia. Again, Siberia, where it's minus 40 in winter. We
The
don't have
hell?
avocados. Like, we don't have
That's
avocados in supermarket.
crazy.
It's like all the berries and like all the fruit is so expensive. Like it's more expensive obviously than Asia.
Yeah.
So when I came to like Thailand or Bali, and then I see that mango is like whatever, like a few dollars or a few cents, it's insane. Like you can
Crazy.
eat this delicious rape fruit right here, right now, and it's just a few cents.
That
I want
is,
that,
it's
honestly.
perspective,
Yeah.
Alina. It is perspective and everything. And I think what I have learned from you, I've learned so much from you, but I think one thing that really stands out is your mindset that if you're going to do something, you're like, I just need to do more reps. Like you don't overthink it, you don't overcomplicate it, you don't take no as an answer. You're just like pivot, 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 pivot if needs be, or else do it longer. I think a lot of people start for 1 year and they give up when really they're only getting started. And if they could just see the perspective on, okay, this isn't working, maybe I need help from someone who's done this before, or if other people are doing it, of course I can do it. Like, rather than being like, oh, that's for other people, but like not for me. And having that victim mindset. So that's definitely something like that I found invaluable, like learning from you. And I think what you've done, it's interesting how you're like, okay, but that's just my life. Like that's what I did and it's really cool. But like it is atypical and it is abnormal and you worked like 10 to 12-hour days every single day for 3 years. But you're like, okay, yeah, but that's my life. I just did it. But that's something that not every person can do. And I think that's what a lot of people need to take from this and learn from this, that, you know, it does require work. Like you have to work hard. You can't just wake up one day and you're like, oh, yay, I've built this business. Like, would you agree?
For sure. And it may seem right now that, oh my God, like they're two girls sitting in a studio recording, talking about how amazing their life is. And obviously right now, like I feel really comfortable. I have like a huge amount of savings. I'm in Asia. I can travel whenever I want. But again, if I'm just starting out, if I'm a listener, I would first check if there's anyone else who's done it. And I would lean towards something like, for example, if I have two choices, launching something completely new or launching something that's similar to, I don't know, a huge creator that's already kind of popular and it's in demand, their service is in demand, then I would lean towards that. So choose something that people has done and try it and get first results. Obviously, you can launch your second and third and 10th business on something completely new, like Elon Musk's launching rockets to Mars, whatever.
Yeah.
And never done it, like no one ever done it before.
So cool.
But it's not his first business. Like you have to have money from somewhere. You have to have experience of leading the team. You have to know how it works. So it's better to start with something that is proven. And the same with videos on Instagram. Obviously, you can develop your own style, but you have to start with videos that worked in your niche first, because otherwise you can't reinvent the wheel. So start with something that you know works.
But you're not guessing.
You're not guessing. Just copy paste the system, copy paste the funnel, copy paste the content, copy paste the sales script, whatever, just to get the proof that it works. Get your first $1,000. Then I would learn more about stories of people who inspire you, because a lot of people right now, they're showing the great lifestyle, their results, or they tell you a short story like, yeah, I started maybe like 5 years ago, but look at me now. But no, they started 15 years ago. Like their first job was 15 years ago. They just didn't tell you about that. Or like, for example, listening to podcasts or big entrepreneurs, they usually say like, yeah, I founded this company like 10 years ago. Yeah, but you founded 50 other companies 20 years prior to that.
Yeah.
And they all failed.
Yeah.
So you need to learn this information, because it's not normal to judge yourself and like kind of put a base on your starting point and competing with the person who launched the company 5 years ago, but they already had prior experience. So literally study stories of people who inspire you, and study them so deeply that you know, like the day they were born, they went to school, what they did, like what projects they launched, how many projects they launched, and you will see that I don't think there's anyone super successful who haven't tried and failed multiple times. And that's what kind of keeps me going. Like I know that, oh, this cool guy who's making millions right now failed more than I did. So look at me, I'm actually better than him. So I'm actually more successful because I learned from maybe his mistakes, or kind of found a coach and he didn't have this opportunity. So a lot of people previously, they didn't have AI, they didn't have coaches available. So they had to put their time, which is the most precious thing. So try something that already been done, just replicate it. Find people who motivate you and who inspire you, but learn the whole story. So you're not kind of wearing pink glasses. You're not an illusion that it worked out for them from the start.
Yeah.
And find out your conversion. If it's 1 out of 100, cool. Like this is your conversion. Doesn't matter. Like if it's, for me, maybe it's 1 out of 10. Well, I could be lazy and I could be doing just 10 calls a month, versus your conversion is 1 out of maybe 30, but you're going to do 300 calls a month. You're going to make 10 more sales than me.
This is so invaluable, because it's up to you then. The more volume you do, if your conversion rate is 1 out of 100, the quicker you can get to that 100 each time, you're gonna convert.
Yeah.
And
like, imagine, like, because it's crazy. Like if you know you close 1 out of 100, how could you complain that no one is buying from you? Like this is just your conversion. Like this is it. This is it. Imagine that it's impossible. Like imagine it's a market conversion. Imagine that you're actually the best in the market. Maybe your conversion is the highest. Just kind of give yourself this mindset, even if you know that your friend closes 1 out of 10. Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
He's in a different niche. He's in a different market. Whatever. My conversion in my market is one out of 100. I'm the best. I just need 100 reps.
That mindset is just what got you to where you are today. I just need to put in more reps. I just need to do more input. And if that's my conversion, that's my conversion. I'm not going to play victim to it or cry in a corner about it because that's not going to get me anywhere.
Exactly.
I love it. Alina, we usually, when we wrap up the pod, we ask our guest what is one piece of life advice that you live by or one quote that you live by?
I guess 2. I always do more than asks.
I love that.
So always doing 11 out of 10.
Guys, before this, sorry to cut across you, Alina did an entire Google Doc describing her entire life from start to finish with her mission and purpose in this life, and with questions already written out beneath it. I actually had all the questions here, but I'm pretty sure we got through them all anyways, as to how she could help the audience as much as possible. And I think that is the type of person that you are. Like, my socks were blown off. And it was so funny. Alina just sent it to me via WhatsApp. She's like, hey, Kate, I just wrote out a Google Doc as to best how I can help your audience. And I was like, oh, this is why you are where you are. Like, it was incredible. The level of detail and just how you apply that to everything in your life. You don't do anything by halves. Like, anything. Like, everything you do it so, so, so well. And you're sitting here casually saying these things, but I think people really need to know that everything you do in life, you just did it to the best of your, like, 11 out of 10.
Exactly.
I love it. Maybe that was one of your
Maybe.
quotes.
Well, it's actually a fruit point, and you could save it as a fruit point then. I guess 2 quotes or 2 principles that I live by would be, first is make sure that you don't have regrets when you're 100, 200. I actually want to live till I'm 300 years old, so that's another point.
No
But
way.
like, make sure that when
Have
you
you
die,
reverse engineered that?
well, yeah, I think with technology and with my lifestyle, like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything, I should be able to live till at least 200.
And do you think that's to do with like AI and health and whatever, or
Yeah, just if you kind of look at the past, like people usually like previously died at 30 and they were considered like old at 30.
yeah,
Obviously, right
wow.
now, my parents look amazing at 50
Yeah, oh
years
my
old.
God, guys, Alina just showed me her mom before this podcast. Your mom literally looks like 21 years old. Like, she is glowing, honestly.
Yeah, that's just kind of genetics or like her skincare and everything. So obviously she also has a big business, a lot of stress, but it's all about how you, I guess, live your life and manage and balance the stress. So if she's able to look like that when she's 50, and my grandma is going, like my grandma goes to the gym regularly, she is 75 or like 78 or something. She can lift and she can run and she can jump and all of that.
Wow.
So, and then they didn't grow up with all the medicine or all the inventions or even the food, like all the nutrients, because my grandma grew up in a village. They didn't like, they had apple for kind of huge celebrations. They had fruit for celebrations because it was high in the mountain. It was super hard to deliver. They only had like meat, milk, and a few crops. So if she
Oh
was able,
my
like if she's here
God.
like 75, 78, being able to be as physically kind of fit
Fit.
as she is, then my mom looks great at 50, then I could be like, I will obviously live till 100. Then with all my lifestyle choices and all my habits, I can probably push till 200.
Wow.
And I'm just hoping that the next 100 is like till 300, I'm going to be using AI or like whatever technology will be
That's
available.
so insane. Like, that is absolutely incredible. So that's one principle you live by, is like, sorry, just rerouting back to.
My principle is don't regret, try not to regret anything. So imagine you're 80, imagine you're 100. If you look at your life, if you look at the choice you're trying to make right now, so like if you're in the middle of something and you're trying to say yes or no, just imagine you're 80 and then try to remember this day. And what would you regret? Would you regret not starting it, or would you regret saying yes when you actually wanted to say no? So that's the mindset. Like, make sure that you kind of put everything else aside. Imagine you're 80, because at 80 you're not gonna care.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't give a
you
shit.
know, you don't
So
care
why just
about
not
what
give a
people
shit now?
think.
Yeah.
About what people think about money. You're just gonna look at the time and your potential. And if you think that this choice, this yes, is gonna propel you, awesome, say yes. If by saying yes you're sacrificing something and you are actually feeling like worse, then obviously say no. So that's rule number one. Always kind of look from your older self perspective. And the second is just conversion. So I will get everything I want. Like, I will be multimillionaire. I will be flying helicopters if I like. Right now it's in my vision board. Maybe I'm gonna change my mind, but right now it is. So I will achieve everything I want. I will be going to red carpets, because I actually was invited to one in LA. So it's like,
Girl,
if I
my dream. That's my
yeah,
vision
so it's just
board.
like, just vision board, and care about it, and know that you're going to achieve it. It's just going to take maybe some reps, maybe find your conversion, maybe it's going to be amount of people who you're going to meet, maybe it's going to be amount of people who you're going to message, maybe it's going to be amount of clients who you're going to work with, who are going to give you the money to then pay for this activity or for this lifestyle, whatever.
Or who you know, you never know. It could be someone you're sitting next to.
Yeah, it's always a
We
conversion.
we could be, who knows, guys? That's also on my vision board. So I'm like, how cool would it be for us to look back and be like, oh, remember we did that cute podcast on this stage, and a year later we're on a red carpet in LA. Like, I truly believe that to be true. And so if you believe that to be true too, we don't need to know how. But like when you say conversion, I love this analogy. I haven't really, I know what you mean, but I wouldn't have actually you apply that to everything in your life.
Even, like, honestly, that's kind of a little embarrassing, but honestly, finding your partner is also a conversion. Because I previously used dating apps, and I know that it's just the amount of swipes, and the
Yeah,
amount of
volume.
messages, and the amount of kind of dates, and then criteria. So I have a list for everything, and I have a list for my partner.
I need to do that. That's where I went wrong. I
So,
need
and
to
it's
do
just
that.
that's just like, it's kind of sounds bad, but it's kind of hiring a person in your team, because that's your lifelong kind of business partner or a team member, and you have to be so careful and so detailed. I think that's my personal
I think too.
perspective.
Well, of course you do, because if you are with someone who doesn't have the same values as you, who doesn't support you in where you're going, or who can't add to that. I know that may sound very entrepreneurial of us, but it's true. Like, everything is a transaction. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, for sure. So
I
everything is a
think,
transaction and conversion.
yeah. I think some people take offense to that. They're like, "Oh, it's so transactional." Everything we do, everything, every conversation you have, every, interaction you have, anywhere you go, if you're having conversations sitting beside people on planes, everything is transactional. And it's just like not seeing it in a way where it's like, you're only doing this because of this. I don't mean it in that way, but that is life. And it's the same with the conversion. Like, you're only maybe maybe I'm like, my conversion for dating is probably like 1 in 500. It's like 500 swipes on Hinge to get that one conversion, but it is true. So that's really cool how you apply that to the red carpet or flying a helicopter. You know, in regards conversion, are you just like, okay, I don't know the how, but maybe I'm X amount of people away working with X amount of people in order to be the person who is going to fly a helicopter? Is that kind of how you think of it? Like, you detach from the how?
Yeah. It's just number of tries, and also, if people don't really understand how they can start. So, for example, I just said, yeah, like finding a partner is a conversion. So if you're just sitting there and you never went on a date and you never like downloaded any apps, then you think like, how, like, what is my conversion then? But then what I would do is like just see the next step. Like, step one, I will download the apps. Okay, cool. Step one done. Then let's say I have 5 different apps. Then let's imagine that I have 100 swipes a day. So I'm gonna do like I'm gonna count those 100 swipes, and then I will see my conversion. I don't like, my conversion could be 99, obviously, out of 100 people.
Obviously, queen.
obviously will swipe and say hi to me, but maybe for some other people, like obviously it's not true. It was like maybe 1 out of 100 if I'm lucky. But for different people, it will be different, obviously, based on your like pictures, personality, how detailed is your description. Even if you put effort in the description and you put effort into
Your profile.
kind of profile, then obviously your conversion is going to be higher. You're just going to save yourself time. So let's imagine you swiped 100 times and you got kind of 10 yeses or like 10 highs. Awesome. So your conversion is 100 swipes, 10 highs. Then maybe the conversation goes further, and then from 10 high, you will get to 2 people who actually are interesting and you want to meet with them. So 100 swipes, 10 saying hi, and then 2 dates. And then maybe one person doesn't show up. So it's actually a show up rate as well.
You get stood up.
So one person showed up, cool, 1 date from 10 highs, and then the date didn't go well. So then you're going to repeat the cycle until maybe you went on 5 dates, and then 1 out of 5 dates was actually pretty good, and you go on the second one. So that's the steps. Like you don't need to know how much kind of swipes or how many swipes you need to do. You just do them, and then you calculate it.
Yeah, I love that. That's like one of the best analogies ever. And maybe like so useful because I'm like, after this, I'm going to ask Alina like about her old profile because I'm like, what,
Oh my
how
god, you've always
detailed was
shocked.
it?
It was so detailed.
So
I actually
detailed.
I actually tested a few different high lines, like the first lines, how to talk to the person to get a better conversion.
No, you didn't.
Because
What
if
was
you
it?
just say hi, like yeah, I'm just gonna
I
say hi back and like what's next? Like where are we gonna go with that? It's just gonna be hi hi and then we finished. If I say hi, how are you, then it's a little bit better. But
okay.
what I was doing is I was actually saying like, hey, do you want to play a game? I think it was To Truth and a Lie. And it's like, oh, that's
Oh,
cool. That's interesting. That's different. At
yeah.
least that's different. And then I will understand that if it's a person is actually interested, they will send me their responses. If not, then I'm not going to spend time. I'm not going to follow up saying like, hey, did you see my message? Like, no, just like
Yeah,
go away.
also as well, like you know that that person is like fun
Fun, yeah.
because it's like, oh, if you're gonna play the game, then you're fun.
Yeah.
So then it's also a win, right? That is just absolutely brilliant.
And
I
then you
love
shorten the
that.
time as well. Like some people, like, it was awful. Like some people just said some sexual kind of context. Like, oh, the truth is, like, I want you, and then let's go to this then and this place. And it's like, ew, no. Like,
Yeah.
why would you start with that? Even if maybe it's a joke, I don't appreciate you starting with that.
Yeah, it's
But
disrespectful.
then other people would go is like, hey, it's like something funny and something like adventurous fact and I don't know, family fact. And it's like, cool, awesome. That's what I'm looking for. That's a
Mm.
fun person. They're adventurous and they showed me different personality, like kind of angles to
Traits,
their
yeah.
personality. So awesome. That's
I love
a
it. Let's do
filter
it.
already.
Let's go for a date. No, I actually just love that analogy, and it's like can be applied to anything. So you can literally just apply that to your sales as well. Like you're only one out, maybe 100 swipes away from the right date, and it's the same with your leads. So go get swiping, guys.
Exactly.
Alina, thanks so much for coming on. This was so valuable, and I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hope it was interesting for the audience. Hope you also gained some insights in our conversation, and obviously I enjoyed everything. So thank you so much.
No, it was incredible. And what we will do is we will leave all of your links below to the gram and where people can find you.
For sure. And I'll record a lesson for them with conversions because it was really hard,
That
probably.
was so good. Yeah, no, that would be absolutely incredible. Thank you so much,
For sure.
Alina. Yay.